with a young actor who's coming for the first time to perform, how they may or may not react when they see 150 people standing around the camera that are all there to help them. So, you know, you worry about those details, you're worried about things you can't control. You worry about the general health and welfare of not only the movie, but those making the movie. You know, creating an atmosphere so that people feel part of a family and a team with a common goal. And it allows them to come to work and do their best work.
No, that was the best one. That was the best one. Everybody, that was the best one. All right, let's try one with camera. A rehearsal. No, don't blow out anything.
If we're going to watch something, we think it has to add value. There has to be a character or a moral lesson or spiritual lesson. The Last Airbender is very spiritual. It's very important to the storyline.
I really like the spirituality of the story and the fact that it's about principles that we should all try and believe in and peacefully getting along, resolving conflict, being a sort of a Zen-like feeling and not, you know, letting your anger boil over all the time.
Cut!
A spiritual journey. It's just not an animated cartoon series. It has a lot of important messages in it.
There is a lot of aspects of spirituality that are weaved into this movie and make it a singular movie-going experience. From meditating to reincarnations to the idea of nature, and we're in sync with nature and the spirit world, and even that the climax of the movie takes place in a place called the spiritual place. Like they find a place that the city was built around.
How could they come up with that? That's such an amazing, and the bending and the martial arts, how it's incorporated into that, and the characters and all that stuff.
It was taking like a real world spiritual culture that we admire and think has good things to offer the world, and kind of infusing that kind of spirituality into the show.
We're talking about cultures that have deep belief systems, and there's a group that's starting to not believe in it and wants to destroy it, and the group that's trying desperately to hold on to it.
When we were creating this air nomad culture, it obviously draws a lot on Tibetan culture and Buddhism, and the whole idea of Aang choosing these toys, that's directly taken from how they kind of identify the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama or even other high lamas.
You know, all this stuff we admire about Asian culture, from spiritual and philosophical things all the way to architecture, costumes, martial arts, cinema, and just nature, just a love for nature. You know, I was a landscape painter in college, I'm a landscape photographer now, just a love for, you know, the world around us.
And I think that the thing that I resonated to probably most, because I've been in this kind of mindset, is this man's connection with nature and us letting it go, and what does that mean? And is that a primitive idea that, you know, our ancestors believed in and now we're so smart that we realize that that is naive of us? Or is it just a flip, that it was correct and right?
Wake up. I can be set.
Really, it's not just a story, it has values in it, and it's the battle between good and evil, which pertains to life, and it's meditating. It's so many amazing things in this story.
The characters have a lot of depth to them. Even the young man who wants to please his father realizes at some point he needs to do the right thing.
And I think that's a great deal about what Knight is talking about in this film, that idea of the natural order of things and a spiritual element to that. You know, all of Knight's movies have this spiritual component, which I think he's also brought to this one. And there is that sort of sense that Zhao goes out alone and pays the consequences for that.
The thing that I kind of brought out more of is this idea of that the Fire Nation is on the verge of industrialization and are on the road to becoming us.
There is this kind of imperialistic element to the Fire Nation and what they're hoping to accomplish, and there is an element of like, we will keep the peace of the world because there is no avatar. And so we will do whatever we need to do in order to do that. And you see that happening in the world all the time.
If they just keep on going, they're going to become us. They're going to forget about their connection with nature and the elements and the spirit world, and they're just going to make their machines and get very aggressive and colonize. And the three other cultures are saying, wait, we may be more primitive, but we're happy.